Hey guys, welcome back to another writing stream. Welcome in, welcome in. If you are not familiar with me, I'm Onya, and I usually stream video games. But for November, I do National Novel Writing Month. In the last few years, I've just been writing instead of gaming on my stream. I've decided to stream every day of the month, mostly to help keep me getting some writing in, especially at the end of the month, which is the most chaotic time in my household. So it's been very helpful. And also around this time of the year, I support a charity known as BabyDJ, and I've decided that all of my revenue for the stream, whether it's ad revenue, bits, etc., goes to BabyDJ, and so that's what that little blurb in the topic is all about as well. And I've been doing this for a few years, donating all my November revenue to BabyDJ as well. If you prefer to donate directly instead of, sitting through ads, etc., I do have the link below. It should be below. I'd have to double check. It's also, the address is right there on the corner of the .org, and occasionally the chatbot will throw up a couple of blurbs about BabyDJ. Like right now, just came up on my Twitch stream. But yeah, so that's the charity that I support. And it's just up on the YouTube. Excellent. So just as a FYI, if you want to support, you don't have to hop over to my Twitch if you're on YouTube. You can go straight to the company's website and donate there. without further ado, I am going to go ahead and begin writing. I haven't had much of a long writing stream in a couple of weeks, it feels like. So, and this one isn't going to be too terribly long either, but it's just a couple hours, which is, I think, the longest that I've had for the last couple of weeks. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to wrap it up around lunchtime, which is around 1:30 at my house. So that's when I will wrap it up. I feel like I just am rambling instead of writing, so let's reverse that, shall we? So they are going on a date to a ghost tour. They just entered the building after entering the wrong building at first. They approach Lisa and Spencer looked at each other. They seemed to have found the correct place. One was, everyone seemed to be milling around, waiting for whoever, or guy. Spencer grabbed Lisa's hand and led her to the side of the room, away from the entrance, where they could stand, and as all of the other seats had already been taken by the other. At this point, I guess it's kind of obvious. My word count goal has been hit. Stretch goal is to finish the story. I don't think I'm finishing it by the end of November. But we'll see how much we can get done, right? About halfway done by your time. It's probably a little more than halfway done at this point, but I'm not confident enough to change that number from this one. After they had claimed a spot for themselves, a few more people had arrived, filling up the room even more with ghost tour guests. Alyssa overheard one of the guests over to their and answered in a hushed tone. Alyssa looked at her husband, and he had shrugged. They still haven't been able to find any charges there where they could charge phones. So after they had parked, he turned to save the battery. Not that neither of them had any interest to check. Longer do we have? first guest Alyssa overheard. Thanks, hon.
Hello.
Words are hard, but I will own those words. Thank you. Ian? $7.05. 7.0 give. 7.05. Apparently, Alyssa wasn't the only one who listened in on their conversation. After that was said, indistinct murmur rippled through the small crowd. An indistinct murmur. The guide. Play. Another guest. They were the first one to address as a whole. Okay, they're here though. Yes. Unless I guess answered. Although volunteers tried it. But no one listens properly other than knowledgeable. This is my up a moment. Spencer, Melissa didn't chime in on things that were currently taking place. Taking place. Instead, opting to listen in on them. Spencer didn't seem to mind much what was being said. Alyssa was drinking it in. Much information as she could overhear. up a bit. Is this color? Oh. There, yes. So you had in here. The knowledge. Slide. If it's telling me to walk, ignoring it from the outside. Yes. Yeah. Knowledgeable guest. Okay. She held up her cell phone. All the sounds. There were a few hushed whispers. Some dubious about the claims. Others impressed with her plan to capture proof of what was occurring. One asked, she patted a large purse that was hanging on her shoulder. Preparedness. Patience. Light, feeling, voice. Cut through the the din of whispers and conversations. Directed toward the knowledgeable, prepared woman. A polite, masculine voice. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the word. Words are failing me already. Complimented. Complimented. Cutting through the din of whispers. As a whole, the room silenced, turned toward the voice. It was a middle-aged man, a brown hair thinning, peppered, brown hair thinning, over and over. He was wearing a He was wearing a tailored suit with a white button-up shirt covered by a brown overcoat. And matching. He had matching the overcoat. His slacks matched brown overcoat. He also had a black top hat adorning his noggin, his head. Come up. Once he had the groom's attention, I guess if he had the top hat, he wouldn't. He gave a low bow, produced a top hat seemingly out of nowhere, and then stood up again and placed the hat on top of his head. My apologies. Pardon? I wonder if that's where the term is from. Alright, back to writing. My apologies. I am Carlton, and I have the pleasure of guiding you to the Feldstone Farms haunted area. Melissa narrowed her eyes at looked over at her husband. Carlton was continuing his introduction. I know that some of you have never heard of the hauntings at Stone Farms before. Curious, how many of you have? Give me a show of hands if you've at least most of the crowd raised their hand. Silas's presentation looked like those who were here with a companion were in similar situations to hers. One companion was there because they had heard and the other was there for support. Good. Guide nodded and then motioned the guests to lower their hands. For those who aren't familiar, you tend to see a lot of activity taking place on our property. Some areas are more dangerous than others, are more active than others. Due to the nature of liability and whatnot, we don't allow our guests to all of those areas. You can see documentation of those areas. By watching popular goes to shows we've had over 5 or 6. I believe there have been 5 or 6 at this point that have had access to those areas. So it shouldn't be too hard to get on those areas. If you are wanting to learn more. What shows? Oh, voice chimed up. Voice. Okay, I need to step away for a moment. I'm going to back screen. It shouldn't take too long. I'm currently in the kitchen. Cooking down as intended. So I will be right back. Yeah. Hey guys, sorry for that delay. Some unexpected things happened that I had to take care of. But just as an FYI and to set expectations, I will be doing it again around 1 o'clock. Alright, so let's get back to writing. Let's scroll up. Great questions that I can't leave off the top of my head. Nothing to tell. And stated after in his note. We are about to begin. Gestured to everyone that was in the room. Yeah. You are currently standing. Every person so far. I don't know if I'm going actually. Your tour. No. Of the year. Trees, every feldstone. Ever owned. And has maintained the home with little to no innovation. Most constants around this time period have become decrepit, burned down. This home withstood the test of time. Some say magic. Most agree. Family members who had a hand in building home and the other structures. Any of these. Farm. farm. Were advanced in their knowledge of architecture. I don't think that's what I want to end up saying, but that's what I'm saying. Alyssa's brow quirked up. She did notice the architecture was different between the Feldstone home, the Manor. Call it advanced. What not what she expected. She would. It was like calling Apple an advanced fruit compared to an orange. And then, of course, was mention of black magic. Reminder that there was somehow a curse. The Feldstone property and the Williston property. Hi, Real Salties, how are you? She made a mental note to inquire about that. The end of the tour, if it did not come up. Good, I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. Is the whole house standing in original? One. Yes, it is. The guy died. What's my book about? It's basically about a couple who's on their anniversary trip, and in short, it's kind of like a novelization that's loosely based on the theme of Hotel California, the song by the Eagles. It's supposed to be kind of like a supernatural thriller type thing, but right now it's more of a anecdotal, not anecdotal, but like slice of life. I feel like I'm just building out the bones right now, and then I'm going to add this spookier elements, like, on editing. And of course, it doesn't help that I haven't quite determined the background of the home either. So I might just end up throwing a bunch of stuff into the pot and seeing what shakes out. Is there? Williston property. The entry hallway has been altered slightly for the tourist experience. For the remainder of the house, in this living room, all of the bedrooms are the original design and wood. And if we were able to maintain the original furnishings, those are all original as well. Impressed crowd again murmured at the news, at the information rather. Up a bit. And we'll put that up here. Many of the couches you are sitting on original, although some have been brought in to match, give our guests plenty of room to rest as they wait for their tardy flight. At the slight self-station, I don't think that's the word. At the and let's go upstairs to the bedrooms, then we'll come back down, visit the kitchen of the house, and then we'll go to the fields and visit fields, visit a few of the livestock livery, a few of the barns, other buildings where people have reported having experiences. Here. Those are the group who were seated and stand as the tour guide and make his way over to the staircase. The original owners of this house I'm going to Sandra, Buford, of this property. It was different from was originally New York, made his way south, selling wares. He came across this property, found he had enough funds to purchase it. And purchase it he did. While other farm it wasn't originally a farm. Over time, he built it up into one. Once the crowd had gathered around him at the foot of the staircase, he began to make his way up step by step. Alyssa noticed that now that she was closer, was that he had a microphone, a slight that somehow made his voice more amplified among the crowd. She wasn't sure how that worked, but realized that that was the smart move with all of these people around. He continued as Carlton continued the story of the Stark farm as stairs. Now, Buford, Sandra had 3 children. Now, when he purchased the property, Buford hadn't met Sandra yet. The property, but it was common to make sure that unbuilt property on back, and to ensure that when one built home, they had plenty of room for family expansion and guests. So although Buford was a one-man, was just one man at the time the house was built, he ensured that it had five rooms. One for him and his future spouse, 3 for at least 3, and at least 3 rooms. 4 additional bedrooms for his children or guests. He stopped on the top floor. Once he led them to the top floor, he did not stop, but instead slowed down gestured to 5 bedrooms. 2 doors on each side of the hall and 1 on the end. There were no additional doors. Servants' court, there were no additional doors. Doors for washrooms, or anything of the like. Given the spacing, each doorway, even each room had substantial space. He stood back, allowing the group to filter into the hallway. The doors were open with velvet ropes that allowed the guests to stand. The doors were open with velvet ropes that allowed the guests to stand to view the rooms while staying in the hallway. Melissa and Spencer doing one of the closest rooms. Room on the right. Ah, thank you for the follow, Alermi. I appreciate it. Alright, scrolling up a bit.
Hello.
Ah, Burb! Thank you for the follow! And of course, I still appreciate it. Alright. The doors were open and Melissa and Spencer who closest room on the right. Alright, Melissa and Spencer are viewing right, along with a couple of the other guests. Guides, birds, captured Alyssa's attention fully. Of course, now that he had the home built, he needed to was prepared to find himself a wife and fill the home. Shortly, the stories say that within 2 years, he had met and courted the young woman, the eldest daughter, by Armstead. That, of course, was Sandra Williston. Alright. Pretty sure this chapter's over 2,000 words, but we're going to just double check. Yep. Alright, so now we're going to go to chapter 21. Alright. Nope, not 23. Just 21. Alrighty. The tour lasted just over 2 hours, with Carlton, the guide, leading the group. Through the Feldstone farmhouse, farm homestead, to the fields, several barns that were some that were still in possession. That's where I'm picking up. Still in progress. That still housed livestock, and several that had been decommissioned due to age and updated technology or regulations, farming regulations. Come up. Okay. Oh. Invented. Oh, thank you for the sub, Burp. I appreciate it. That money will go straight to charity. Thank you, thank you. Carlton even led them through some paths that cut through the back. Yes, you have access to all of the emotes. There's a couple in there that I'm pretty sure you should still have access to, like the feather or the O, but you have the high, which is probably the, in my opinion, the best one. But that's also kind of memey too. And if you go to my Discord, I don't know if you're in there yet. I'm not looking at Discord right now. You have access to the subs only room, which I still need to add the story to the queue list. But you'll be able to read the story in its entirety as opposed to what's just on the screen. Thank you. I only created those first two. Those last 5 were Twitch supplied, but they're fun. So that's why they're available in the intact fields. Through the growing fields of wheat, barley, I need to look up what Pennsylvania farming consists of. Corn and other vegetation that Alyssa couldn't. Oh! I mean, you see how my emotes turned out when I made them, so if you want to create a couple, that would be cool. I'll get with you offline and see what we can do. And yeah, I've had a list of emotes that I've wanted to create for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it because time is not my friend right now. So I appreciate the offer. I'll reach out to you offline about that. Even let them through it. As the group followed him through the tour, nothing exceptional seemed to happen. There were a couple of guests who work on them when you're on vacation. Oh, you mean winter break? Okay. Yeah, I have got no rush on a time frame or anything like that, so that would be cool. There were a couple of guests who murmured about feeling like they were touched or having had their names called out, or even feeling like they were just not feeling good, but only in specific areas of the tour. For herself, Alyssa didn't notice any of that. Didn't notice any of that. For herself, she was pretty certain that Spencer did not either. He would have said something to her if he did. Of course, Alyssa wasn't necessarily paying attention too much after hearing some of Carlton's stories about the farm, but particularly Eulerly segments about how the Feltstones and the Willistons were once compatriots, partners, but they're soured over time. Neighborly rivalries that mirrored several other rivalrous. Is that a word? Apparently it is a word. Other rivalrous neighbors in history. For her part, as she was so engrossed trying to absorb the history of the land, if a ghost, someone had called her name and slapped her in the face, probably wouldn't have even noticed it. Alright. Follow them through the tour, nothing happened. Rain is not wanting to work right now. Give me a sec. The tour, by the time the tour, no, once the tour had finally ended, Melissa was standing back in the living room of the Feldstone homestead. The rest of the guests had mostly filtered out and were going their own activities. Spencer remained by Alyssa's side, gave her a light poke in the release. There. Yeah. She answered and looking up at him. Come on. Alright. It's over. Oh my gosh. Where's most of it though. She furrowed her brows. She physically felt fine. She couldn't tell where but she couldn't fall much beyond fuzzy imagery of the last several, actually, even the last hour. How? Like, struggled to find the words that she wanted to convey. That sounded too odd. Here, I heard practically everything I said. I wasn't able to kind of like a dream, I guess. Okay. Barely calling me anything. I don't dream. Pointed out to her. But I have heard of that. I don't recall just of what we before. In her teeth, chagrin, she shook her head. No, I don't. But I do. I feel like I recall elements of it, where how Barnes made me feel, what I thought. I thought something good. Also fine. Also farm like using corn as cover. I can't recall most of the specifics. You'd be surprised how often that happens. A third participant came into the conversation. It was familiar, but not as overbearing as previous. It was the tour guide, Carlton, with his top hat tucked under his arm. Oh. How often what happens? Alyssa Anston. Asked him to clarify. Not being able to recall most of the tour. There are some who recall everything. And some who only recall being touched or the like. At the end of the tour, we don't really do sort of exit survey, but based on what I hear while people are leaving, there are usually 3 kinds of experiences. Those, a few who some who only recall being touched with like, and most who don't really recall anything. Even though they feel like they've been present, attentive during the tour. Is there some kind of trick they're using to make asked both inquisitively and skeptically. Alright. I need to step away for a minute. I'm going to switch to the beer back screen. I have to check on stuff that I'm making in the kitchen. And I'll be back. Hopefully it won't take as long this time. All right, I'm back. Thank y'all for your patience. It didn't take as long this time. Go ahead and get back to some writing. His head, not at all. Waving his hands and toward Spencer's words. Oh, it's just an observation. Yes. I feel like fine. experiences myself. I guess I fall first category. Oh, there we go. Must have been bugging. That is what. That's where you're falling in, right? The last category? Doesn't fall anything? Oh, thanks. Shook her head. Elisa corrected. I just can't recall them. He then looked pointedly at the poor guy. What I do recall with some sort of clarity, all the moments you mentioned, the Feldstone, disputes. Are there any others you mentioned that? He blinked at her question. I don't really hear much about people who don't really recall much. Maybe a handful mention going. He shrugged. It's not to the point where I Have you heard anything about this? Alyssa days. Curse? Carlton, the tour guide, asked. Here he did not. Never mind. This is sad. I'm tired. Oh, never mind. Spencer rallied her. I'm curious ever since Sally mentioned it. Sally? Carlton is my girl. Carlton asks, is voice going up a pitch as he looked over the couple? Got it. How do I want them to approach this? Yes. Spencer put on the mantle of investigator. She's the receptionist at the Morning Glory Manor. You understand? It's, you know, it was. Sorry. Oh. Oh, inside of Willis companion. She told us that there was a curse that involved going from barefoot. But it mostly involved people who were staying Alyssa. Spencer nodded at Alyssa's addendum. Apparently people who stay at the manor. This is the farm. And return to the manor. Decide never to return. Our guide listened to the two of them make their arguments. Discuss their inquiry. Ultimately shook his head. Ever heard of any sort of curse? Rivalry, yes. Yes, maybe it makes sense. There might be a rumor. the fire ended up going under. And then the rivers stay. However, I've never heard of anything about on the property, or would I know where to turn? What about the current owners? Oh. Carlton shifted. Yes. Oh, that question. Don't really have full. Really have so for that matter. Verified. Alyssa said. Resolution. Oh. First history. Of course, it's possible. There was no first after all. It was just owners. She had so it's not. Carlton asked. This voice lowered. Asked, although his voice was lowered. Question broke silence that Alyssa hadn't realized had overcome. Yay! Hit 60,000 words. Woohoo! Go ahead and do a quick cheer. Level up fanfare. All right. Back to writing. I'm not going to say broken. I'm going to say shattered. I think that would be a great way to actually end the chapter, but I don't think I hit. Yeah, I don't think I hit. That's what editing is for. Wait, no. Definitely good. Spencer asked Carlton I have a question. Ted. I told you. Well, let me scroll up a bit. I literally forgot how it was worded. Sally Wilson. Yes. Spencer looked at Melissa, who only shrugged. Dude. Alright, got a few more minutes of the stream left, guys. Just a heads up. I will be ending it soon-ishly. Some good writing progress done today, guys. Yes. He then turned back to Carlton. Asked. No, I only know she's the related. We think she might be granddaughter. Lord. And maybe the daughter is of Sally Wilson. Let's say explain. Wouldn't be on Sparta. I think so. There's a lot of good, like, final chapter sentences going on here. Silly self-imposed rules. All right. Tease. she wasn't. Melissa was the sole survivor. Oh. Makes sense. Oh. She was committed. That's it. She had died too. Alyssa could feel a lump forming in her throat. She managed to choke out. Was noticeable grimace and this reluctance. Continue with the conversation. He shook his head. His head. They were already this far. It's going to sound impossible. Said slowly. The entire family. Oh. Alright, I'm going to try to figure out how to word this and then I'm going to wrap up the stream. But no one knows exactly. Bodies were all found. Kid. That's it. They had. As if they had been streamed. There were no signs. Actually. Spencer almost here said something. Carlton. Molly was the call. Stupid. I don't remember the details. But definitely some of her family. They did only find some of it. Excuse me. Then after some time, the other family members they had there. Alyssa. It's worse. Carlton. Motions to chair, which she should have done earlier, but set one of the seats as he sat down in a chair. From it. Once everyone was seated, she was just a woman. Like that. Did ran a scrolling up a little bit and found with all sorts of junk laying around it. So, the best to avoid glancing at Spencer. Oops. As they were investigating the lake. It wasn't a new body. It was that had already documented as red. Here chill went up. Oh, this is fun. All right. Yay, some creepiness has happened. How does this relate to the overall story? We'll find out as I continue to plod along. But for now, I need to go have lunch. I've got a few things to do around the house, and I'll probably to have a bit of a lazy day on my end. So I do want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week if I don't see you throughout the week. And guys, this is 26. I've got 4 more days of writing to go through. I hope you'll join me for the rest of those days too. Alright, thank you guys so much for joining. Oh yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Discord. I post my when I'm going live there. Also follow me on YouTube and Twitch to know when I will go live there. And I'll see you next time. Alright guys, thanks for joining. Bye.